Just say hi in the chat box if you can hear me and if you can see my screen. Yeah, Abel. Martin, it's nice to see you here. Good evening. Say hi, Olajumoke. Good to see you. Please say hi in the chat box. Let me know, I'm being heard. Good, Oluwatosin. Good to have you here. Say hi on the group if you can hear me. Chikozi, nice to see you. Say hi, everyone. So just let's wait for 2 minutes. Hopefully other people will join. I mean, so that they won't. Godwin, nice to see you here. So let's just, 7:05. We are going to, just get into it. Again, I wasn't expecting people to do African time, but it is what it is. So in 2 minutes, we are just going to get straight into it. So you can say hi, tell us where you're joining from. Yes, thank you, Blessing. Just say hi in the chat box. So good to have you here, everyone. So in 1 minute, we are just going to get into it. In 1 minute, we're going to get into it. Hopefully more people join, so they won't take us back. 1 minute, 1 minute, we're starting. 1 minute, we're starting. Olakunle, good to see you. 1 minute, we're going to get started. 1 minute, 1 minute, 7:05 sharp. We're going to get started. Can you see my screen as well? Can you see my screen? Please just say yes if you can see my screen. We're about to start. All right, great. So good evening, everyone. Thanks for showing up for this webinar. A lot of people register for this webinar. So, I mean, surprisingly, we're just having people joining in peak. So I want to appreciate you for taking out, time to register for the webinar and most importantly, to show up for this webinar. So my assumption is that everybody on this webinar, we have the same objective, which is to get into tech. For some of us who might have tried our hands on this, this, and probably gotten like different kind of results, small wins here and there, frustrations, and the like. I'm also here to help you. I want to ensure that your next 1 hour that you'll be spending, for this webinar is going to be worth it, and you're going to get, a lot of value for this time that you want to put into it. I want to talk about how the tech industry actually work, right? A lot of people have different misconceptions about it. What do they do in tech bro, tech six, are they all writing codes, and stuff like that? And most people erroneously believe that tech is just all about coding. Yeah, coding is good. There are a lot of lucrative roles in tech that, require coding. Some of them from engineering, DevOps, or some of these, a lot of them require coding. And yeah, so but the reality is that there are a lot of jobs in tech that does not require coding. I mean, zero coding that does not require it at all. And that is the focus of this webinar. Why should you listen? I mean, I love to attend classes or I love to take courses. So, but before I probably pay money or join a program or enroll for a training, I always care who is going to train me. Now, the who can be a person or can be a company. What's their track record, right? My name is Wale. I have about 15 years experience in this tech industry. And this 15 years experience spans across working in tech, myself across different roles in tech. Some are coding, a lot of them are non-coding roles. And in the last 7 years, I've been building tech companies. I mean, I've built 3 companies. You might have come across some of them or using some of the products. So, but that today is not about, my companies and any of those things, right? So, my companies have employed, 150 plus people in the space of 7 years. So I have like a 360-degree view of how this tech industry, right, actually work. And I can tell you categorically, right, that there are more jobs in tech that does not require coding. I'm not coming to tell you about something I read or a course that I took, then I'm also trying to, teach other people and monetize. No, I'm coming to tell you 100%, my experience, my journey in the last 15 years, being on both sides of the table, working in tech, and employing people, in tech. I've had multiple roles in tech. I mean, surprisingly, I like to explore, not just that I like to explore, I think I have quite a number of talents or gifts, like I'm good at a few things. And at some point, I was writing PHP, for backend. At some point, I was, building games with Unity, with C++, and the like. At some point, I went into content writing and I made a lot of money from some of these things. I made a lot of money for content writing, by the way. Along the line, I had a client then that I was working for, as a freelancer that needed to do something with Oracle Primavera. And the money this guy was willing to pay was mind-blowing. That was my first introduction to, tech project management. And what did I do? I upskilled, I went to NIT, and this was several years ago. And I paid like, was it over $1 million? I got into project management, learned Oracle Primavera, made a lot of money with that too. In my companies, apart from being the founder and CEO, at some point I've been like a product manager. Uh, but what I've been doing for the last, say, 5 years, it's really been more about data, analytics, insight, data science, just everything that has to do with data, right? So I've seen it done it. I've taken up different roles in tech. I'm coming to tell you what I know. I'm coming to tell you, what I've done and maybe what I'm doing, right? So in 2017, I've started to mentor people, helping people to get into tech. 2017, I was still in uni, by the way. But I've been in tech like way back before then, and I've been making a lot of money in tech way back 2017. What happened that year was that I started thinking, how do I give back, right? I have, a lot of friends that were about to graduate from uni. They didn't know what next to do after university, what next. So I started putting, seminars together. I started teaching people how to get into tech, right? And a lot of people, both within my network and outside my network, have gotten into tech. I used to do it in a way that I would use my money to rent event spaces in Lagos, Toyin, Ikeja, all those, on the highlands, sometimes in Abuja, just bring people together, train them, for a few days for free and just helping people, get into tech. Some of these people are working with global companies now. A lot of them are freelancing, but something is common to all of them, right? They are all making something good for themselves, like they have a proper life, so to speak. Some are working with global company. One recently got a job with AstraZeneca in the UK. So, I mean, I've been doing this thing for like forever, just teaching people, helping people, right? And the good thing is that I used to do it for free, 100%, but I stopped 2019, April 14, I stopped. And I'm going to tell you why I stopped, hosting workshops, hosting seminars and just, teaching people, right? 2019, April specifically, I just decided that no, this thing is not worth it. So but I'm going to tell you why I stopped, sometime in the webinar. Look, this webinar is not for everybody. We need to be clear about it. I'm happy. I appreciate you for registering and for joining the webinar, right? So but I just feel like not to waste your time and mine, maybe we should be clear about who this webinar is for. If you want to get into tech or you know anyone that wants to get into tech, right, in the next 6 months, this webinar is for you. Why am I attaching time to it? I'm not a fan of learning something and just procrastinating and saying, hey, yeah, I'll do it. I already know what to do. I'll do it later, right? So if you're not sure that you want to get into tech, or if the person you are attending this webinar on behalf, if you're not sure that person is going to take action, say in the next 6 months, then this webinar might not be for you, right? If you don't have time to follow through what I'm going to teach you in this webinar, right? It's also not for you. Look, you don't get result from learning. You don't get result from listening. You don't get result from cramming. You get result from doing. And to do something, you need time. To do something, you need to follow through. You need to take action. So if you're not willing to take action, if you're not willing to commit, right? Uh, it might not be for you. So, but if you have the time and you're willing to follow through, this is for you. Need a laptop and internet to do what I'm going to teach you. So let's be clear about that. Can you use your phone for a few things? Yes, you can. But ultimately, you would need a laptop. You would also need internet connection to be able to implement what I will teach you in this webinar, right? So I'm just preparing your mind. Why? So that I wouldn't want you to attend my webinar or take my course or something, and after 6 months, nothing has changed simply because you didn't put it into practice, right? Um, if you are serious about starting a non-code career in tech, I love you. I love it. This webinar is just everything you would need to make this happen. It is not for you if you think tech is a get-rich-quick scheme. Tech is not. Are you going to make money? Yes. Are you going to make a lot of money at some point? Yes, you're going to do that. But I'm not going to tell you in 2 months, in 3 months, you'll get my results. My result took years, more than 10 years, right? I've been on computer since I was probably 9, 10. So I'm not going to tell you that, hey, this, just do this, and in 6 months, boom, you make your first $10,000. I'm never going to tell you that. So this thing is not for you. If you think that tech is a get-rich-quick scheme, it is not for you. If you're not motivated, if you are lazy and you're not ready to put in the work, let's not waste each other's time. Tech is going to require effort, it's going to require time, it's going to, the good thing is that you will get results 100%, I can guarantee you, right? If you need somebody to spoon feed you without putting any effort, then we're going to have an issue, because again, I'm not sure this webinar, right, is for you. If you're that kind of person, you need to take action. You need to put in the work, right? Lastly, at some point, you would need to make some financial, investment into achieving your career goal, right? This investment might be buying courses, might be paying for training. You don't have to do this with me, right? I don't have say something like, I have something I want to sell to you, by the way, but you need to buy a laptop, which will cost money. You need internet connectivity, which will cost money. You need to, upskill, learn a tech skill, which will also cost money, right? So let's get this out of the way, right? Before we go into the webinar proper, please do something for me. I want you, thank God a few people have left. I like that. So please, if you want to go into this webinar, please, I just need 1 hour from you. I need you to shut out the noise, put your phone on silent, and please don't be distracted. The reason I'm doing this is because normally I shouldn't even be at work by now, but I'm just here to do this webinar. So please just shut out the noise and please concentrate. Just 1 hour. If you concentrate, it's just going to change your life. I need you to also commit to have an open mind. I understand some of you have tried different things in tech. Some of you have bought courses. Some of you have met coaches that have made all sorts of promises to you. And maybe you're disappointed or frustrated or whatever, right? Please just be open-minded. Listen to what I want to teach you in this webinar. Forget about all your disappointment, all your whatever it is, right? Just give me 1 hour, listen to me, be open-minded, and that is it, right? And I need you to please make me a promise in the chat box. I need everybody to do this. I will really appreciate it. Please promise me you're going to take action with what you will learn on this webinar. It is very, very, very important. Just promise me you're going to take action with what you will learn in this webinar. Just put that in the chat box and I will really, really, really appreciate it. Please, yeah, thank you, Joseph. Just tell me you will take action. I don't want to waste your time and I don't want my own time also to be wasted. Please, I need you to take action. It doesn't matter what I teach you for free or what I, a course I sell to you or whatever, right? What matters is what you do with it. I beg you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you to everyone that wants to take action with this. At the end of this webinar, I will make you an offer. You don't have to take this offer, right? I told you I used to host webinars. I used to, rent all of these things with my money since way back 2017. April 14, 2019, on my way from one of those workshops in Lagos, driving through Lagos to Akure, I had a nasty accident. The vehicle was written off. I was very fortunate to be alive without a scratch. Why did I stop doing that webinar? None of the attendees called or texted to even check if I've gotten back to my destination. So this was me renting or spending money to advertise. We were even giving item 7 and branded shirts, right? I had a lot of money to throw away anyway. So I was doing that webinar 100% free. Some of them, took action, they made money. But that accident on my way from Lagos was the turning point for me. And I decided I was not going to do anything again, for free. Anyway, I broke that promise, right? I've taught a lot of people one-on-one since then, but one-on-one training is not scalable. How can I help people, in bulk? 200, 500, 1,000 is by putting a cost together. Putting it together cost money. Marketing it, running ads, all of these things, right? Cost money. And that is why I'm going to give you a paid offer. You don't have to take it, right? If you work with what I'm going to teach you in this webinar, you're still going to be able to wing your way and get, into tech. So I've told you my story. There's no point going into that again. So what is stopping people from getting into tech? I've come to realize that it's just a combination of, let me say, 5 lies. These 5 lies is responsible for everything that most of us, all the frustration and disappointment that we face getting into tech. Most people believe that tech is for wizards. And you see tech bros, every time they're always writing something that, you can't understand, they dress in a certain way, they're always introvert and moody. I mean, well, sorry about that. I'm not saying what they are doing is easy or is cheap, but just trust me, tech is not for wizard. Nearly everybody can work in tech. Another lie that they've told us or that they've told you is that everyone that work in tech writes code. This is a very big fat lie. It's very, very, very big, right? And it's very fat, but it's a lie. Think about Google, think about Facebook, think about Apple, think about Dell, think about, any tech company, Paystack, Flutterwave, any tech company that you know. Do you think everybody that work in those companies writes code? The big answer is it's a very big no. Coding is just one of the several things that tech companies need, right? They might also have told you need a degree to land a job in tech or to get a job in tech. This is also a lie. I've dealt with people with just secondary school education and, they got a job that I know of. Or they've told you tech is just for young people. We have somebody in my company, he was 51 when he joined us last year. He's a business analyst today. So it's not just for young people, it's for everybody. Some people feel like, yes, I know there are roles in tech that does not require coding, but it's those ones that write code that makes the fat money. This is also not true. During COVID, I consulted for a UK company. I was doing some Oracle Primavera work for them. They paid me £230 per hour during COVID. I didn't write one single line of code. So tech is broad. Nearly every aspect of tech is lucrative. Of course, they make more money than one another. There are roles in tech, there are coding roles where you make more money, and there are non-coding roles where you make more money as well, right? So I just want you to be open-minded and let's get into it. When you were signing up for this webinar, we asked some questions, and one of it is, what's your biggest challenge that's stopping you from getting into tech? 41% of those that registered said it's fear of coding. This is because they feel like tech is just all about coding, 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 and I've tried to code or I've seen coding in a movie and I don't like it. So I don't want to get into this. I want to get into tech, but coding is, in between me and my dream. 24% say they are scared of not going to get a job. Some say they don't know what aspect of tech to go into, and some lack the roadmap. What can I do to become X? What can I learn to become, say, a product designer or whatever, right? So, but fear of code is like the biggest thing. This is very, very, very valid. I confirm to your responses. And fear of not getting a job is also like very valid. People that have been in tech for how long, but they don't have a job. I will solve some of these problems on this webinar. Just stay with me. So how does tech company, how does it really work? How does it work so much that there are coding roles and there are non-coding roles? So listen, every tech company, I repeat, every tech company starts with research and development. Tech companies do a lot of research. The problem is when we hear research, what comes to our mind is lecturers. What comes to our mind is academia. No, the answer is no. In my company, we conduct a lot of user research, right? We do a lot of user experimentation. We do a lot of consumer behavior. I mean, we spend a lot of time and resources, right? Doing research and development. Same thing with big companies like Apple. Do you think Apple just wakes up and say, oh, let's create another iPhone with 4 cameras and let's just produce 1 million units? What gives them the audacity that they are going to sell? What gives them the audacity that people want to change their phones? What gives them the audacity that I want 4 cameras? They find all of these things from research. So research is a very big aspect of tech where you have more than 15 different, non-coding roles, very lucrative roles, right? So you have people that collect data, you have people that analyze data, you have people that are user experience researcher, you have people that are user experience writers, you have people that develop, gamifications, little games to, know consumer behaviors. There are just a lot of jobs under research and development. You have market analysts, you have, market researchers, you have people that are using to like InView. There are just a lot of roles in tech under research and development that nobody is even talking about. And to burst your bubble, this is one of the aspects that a lot of tech companies even find people. They find it difficult to find the right people to fill these roles. So, I mean, it's easy for me to put it out there now that I want a front-end developer with XYZ stack and X number of experience. I will see a lot of people, right? So I can't say the same when I say, hey, I'm looking for a qual, researcher that can use XYZ too. Some of those roles we've not even heard about them. And there are foreign companies looking for people, right? Under research and development to burst your bubble. Even though I've been in tech, like I've made some very good money in tech. I made my major money in tech as an undergraduate, I think 200 level or thereabouts, working as a market research analyst. What does my work entail? We're collecting data, from logistic companies, DB Schenker, UPS, FedEx, all sort of data. And a lot of times you download apps and they ask you to click these, and all of those things. Your data are being fetched. They are spending a lot of money on research and development. A lot of tech companies, in fact, every tech company has a component that is called research and development. There are several roles under research and development, right? That is making a lot of money, but people don't know about it. After research and development, then tech companies design their products. I know when you hear design their products, probably what you're thinking about is, oh, their mobile app. Yes, but before the developer will jump at, writing a code for an app, they have to do something they call product design. Product design is what most of us know as UI UX design, right? But there are a lot of roles under product design. So you have obviously the product designer, you have the product manager, you have the UX writer. Think about your mobile app, your WhatsApp. When you open somebody's, click on somebody's name on WhatsApp, it tells you something. You are able to do something. You know where what button is. The way they communicated to you on WhatsApp, you know that, oh, this button is for setting. That's UX, writing. You have those people. You have user experience researchers, people that collect a lot of data from customers. So there are a lot of jobs under design. Every app, every software products that you are using or that you are interacting with, before they wrote one line of code, they've done a lot of design. And design is broad. Design is just wow, right? So there are several roles under product design that does not even require one line of code at all. If the first department, which is research and development, does not do anything, there's nothing for product design department to do. Without product design department, there's nothing called coding in tech. This is how every tech company that you know of, that you don't know of, this is how all of them, this is how they work. Now, this is the part that most of us know about: engineering, front end, back end, mobile, front end, back end, mobile, front end, very good. These guys are fantastic. They are popular. They are making money, right? They are the guys that mostly write the codes. Front-end engineers write code, back-end engineers, mobile, DevOps, right? They write code to some extent. DevOps do write code to some extent. But a lot of us just focus on product engineering. And we think the entirety of tech is all about engineering. This is very, very, very erroneous, right? Now, we've built our software. What do we do with it? I don't want to eat my app. The founder of Paystack doesn't want to eat his app or put it in his pocket. We need to acquire user, right? We need to market. Now, marketing is, I feel like probably marketing has the most roles in every tech company. It's a different kind of marketing, right? These are marketing campaigns that you need to learn specialized softwares. You need to collect a lot of data. There are marketing data analysts. There are growth people. There are people that track user behavior. There are people. I mean, marketing is just big. Marketing is just very, very, very broad and very important, right? How did you get to know about WhatsApp, for instance? It was made in the US and it's very rampant in Nigeria. It's very rampant in most African countries, right? Not everywhere in the world, but in most part of the world. WhatsApp is, how did you get to know about it? How did it get on your phone? Why are you still stuck with Gmail after how many years? Gmail is not the only email provider. So there are a lot of roles under marketing that makes you get into a software application and you never leave. Most of us have been using our emails now for how long? Since forever. You've been using WhatsApp for how long? There's Telegram, there's Signal, right? Why have you not left WhatsApp? Because of those several roles under marketing and user acquisition, user retention, right? Tech companies are pumping a lot of money. This is what takes the most money in my organization. All the companies are founded, marketing takes the most money. But most of us, when we hear marketing, all that comes to our mind is digital marketing, social media money is way, 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 way more than that. Every tech company, has this. The last part is customer and technical support. Oh my God. Only God knows how many times WhatsApp has crashed in the last how many months or years. There was a time Twitter was down, Instagram, all of these things. When we finish building our stuff, we've acquired user, depending on whether it's B2B or B2C, we need to continually, serve those customers and not just chat with them, not just pick their calls, right? A lot of software needs to be tested, a lot of software needs to be integrated, there are just a lot of roles under customer and technical support in tech. Because it doesn't end there. Tech product, tech software, you don't finish building them. As people are using them, they are going to break. You're going to learn new things. You're going to collect more feedback. The market is going to tell you something else. So you need to react to all of these things, right? And companies like Facebook, they set up an entire new company just for technical support. Twitter has the same thing. Most of these big guys, Amazon, they have so these are jobs in tech. A lot of these jobs require zero coding, at all. So look at this chart. In my company, it looks something like this. In companies like Google and Co, this is what it looks like. So these are big tech companies, but their entire workforce, only 39% write code. The remaining 61% write zero code. So, but why can't people see that, hey, there are more jobs in tech industry that does not require coding than those ones that so all of us are so focused. We are all concentrated on, I want to become a data scientist, front-end engineer, back-end engineer, or nothing. Who is talking about the 61% of opportunities in tech that does not require coding? Who is going to expose people, to it? Now, some of these roles are very scarce to come by. I'll be honest with you. It's 5 times more difficult for us to hire a marketing analyst. I'm not saying a digital marketer. I'm not saying, so there's a role called marketing analyst. There's a role called business analyst. It's 5 times more difficult for us to find people for these roles than it is to find for developers. And I mean across junior, across mid-level, across senior, for these 2 roles. If we put a vacancy out there now, we're going to get a lot of people, right, for front-end or whatever. But it's 5 times more difficult. It costs us more money to get people to fill these roles than it is for us to get, developers. Even product managers or product management that seems to be common or popular. Trust me, how many actual product managers do you know in your network? Some of us know developer, great, right? Because I mean, this whole coding web development has been here for like 20, 15 years, right? So it's just normal that we have a lot of people that have ventured into it. But actual product manager, how many people do you know in your network that what this person does is PM? These people are scarce, but it just bothers me, or it makes me surprised when people want to get into tech and they don't even look at these aspects at all. Everybody just wants to write code. The bad news is that coding is not for all of us. Coding is not for everybody. I've coded, oh, I mean, I don't know if there's anyone like coded. So, but like, I've been writing code since like way back, age 12, 13, and it just got to a point and I got fed up that, yo, do I want to do this for the rest of my life? I found it boring at some point. And that was when I started exploring also what else there are or what else there is in tech. And look, there are just a lot of opportunities beyond, developer. Now, this is a recent data from my company. We wanted to hire a senior backend engineer, Node.js engineer. We have just one. We just wanted to hire one person. And we put out an opening that was supposed to last for 2 weeks. And after 10 days, we had 38 people that applied. But we only have one opportunity, right? For mobile, we had 23 people that applied. Now, I'm not saying all these 23 people are, good, and because we screened them at the end of the day. Out of 38, only 7 people made it to interview stage, and we only could hire just one of them. But this data tells you something. It tells you that, hey, they are backend engineers. During that period, we hired for all of these roles too. For a digital marketing specialist, we didn't get any application. We had to hire that role through referral, or more or less like we poached somebody from another company. We didn't poach, but the person wanted to work with us. So, but we didn't get like outright application. People that really knows this thing. I'm not saying I call myself, no. People that really knows it, have got experience. Same thing for software testing. Now, look at UX writer. So you've heard about content writer, you've heard about UX writing is good. Like, it's a lot of money. And this is, I think, is relatively new, like maybe 5 years, 6 years old, and very few people are doing UX writing. We couldn't get a UX writer. I hired somebody from Twitter for UX writing, and eventually she had to leave. Why? Because she had other commitments, she had other clients that she was serving, foreign companies, and so we couldn't get her, we couldn't keep her, so to speak. But the bad news for us is that why did I end up with just one candidate for UX writing? Why didn't I have like 2, 3, 4, 5 that I could like hire and compare from? Because these folks are scarce. And these folks are so important in tech. Like, tech companies are building very sweet product these days. The sweet product is not just design, it's not just engineering. Most of the products you are enjoying, like the most, the apps you love, right? Your banking apps and co. Thank UX writers for making you love them. We only got one person. What of landing page designers? Now, these things sound basic. I have a guy that is charging $300 on Fiverr to design a landing page for foreign companies. I've not met up to 10 people that this is what they specialize in. Landing page design. What of DevOps? We had 4 people. Now, just compare these numbers with what you have for backend engineer and what you have for mobile. So why do people want to get into tech and they want to venture into that aspect of tech that is already flooded? Now, these are opportunities. These are things you can start learning from, day one, from today, and start building like a career. You don't have to go the coding route, right? You can if you want to, but I think if you're on this webinar, I think maybe you don't want to go the coding route. So this is a real life data. This is very recent, in my organization. Over time, over the years, I've developed a framework on how people can get into tech without having to learn to code. Even though I am telling you that I've developed it, it still has to do with the people themselves. And I will talk about it. There are secrets, there are just 3 things that everybody needs to know, right, to get into tech. The first is that anybody, I mean anybody, if you follow what I'm going to teach you, everybody or anybody can get into tech. And not just get into tech, even if you don't have any education, you can read and write. You can read in English, you can write in English. And even if you don't know what aspect of tech to go into, I'm going to teach you and I'm going to show you how to get into tech, right? I'll give you an example. There's a lady called Daniela. We got in touch when she was 18 years old. She's now 19. She just left secondary school and she wanted to venture into tech. She just didn't know what aspect, but like this coding thing has shown her shaky, I think, a couple of times. Long story short, she was able to go into DevOps and, she went the AWS route. She got her first internship at 19. She got her first job at 19. The whole transition thing took her about 7 months. She did her certifications, did all of those things. And she's currently in Unilag studying law, 100 level, and she's already working and she isn't writing any code. But just because she was able to follow somebody that knows what to do, somebody that knows a different aspect of tech, and she was just able to pick something that works for her straight up. She didn't waste her time going from year to year to year. And that's it. I'm really, really, really proud of Daniela. She's like one of my top because she's just 18. She was 18 then, she's just 19. And she's already in tech. She has done, 6 months in paid internship. She currently has a full-time job and she's studying law for crying out sake. And she's in 100 level. Now, I'm just looking, what will she be 10 years from now? She'll be 29. She would have gathered 10 years of experience in tech. 10 years of experience anywhere in the world is a lot. The second thing is that for any role in tech that you want to venture into, you are likely going to do it wrong if you don't have a roadmap. Trust me, you can go on Udemy and just take a course. Trust me, that is it. But that is not going to, help you become, say, a UX writer, for instance. There's a roadmap that have come to develop. If you follow this roadmap in 6 months, you'll be ready, you'll be marketable, you'll be hireable, and most importantly, you're likely to have gotten, your first job. There's also a lady, Margaret. She studied microbiology for crying out loud. And she didn't even make that move till she got 500 level. So she's been hearing tech, this, that, and all of those things, right? But she didn't know where to jump in from. She has heard about coding and coding has scared her. But I worked with Margaret. Again, I didn't take any money from all of these people, to be honest. And I worked with her. She was able to find an aspect of tech, that is great, that skills, personality, and everything. And in 6 months, she was able to learn the right things. I created a roadmap for her. This is what you should learn, blah, blah, blah. And this is how you should, position yourself. Long story short, she now works with one of the biggest e-commerce companies, in Africa. She worked with Jumia specifically. And she works as a technical support team, they do system integration, a lot of these, they are e-commerce, and stuff. And she's doing very fine. From somebody that studied microbiology to transitioning into tech, she doesn't write any code. And she's making like some of course, she doesn't earn in dollars, but in Nigerian standard, at least the month she's taking home over ₦1 million. She's been doing that job for like 3 or 4 years. So you need a roadmap. I would not advise that you wing it. I would not advise that you just, just get a roadmap that works for that aspect of tech that you want to go into. But the most important thing is that you need to understand the different aspect of tech, then pick one that aligns with your personality, that aligns with your skill set, and then follow that roadmap, the step-by-step guide, right? That will make you become that thing. After which you can now start applying for jobs. Applying for jobs and getting job in tech is another different ball game, entirely. A lot of people have learned, but they are stuck. Inside that road program that I've developed or that I've used for people, I've come to realize that there's just a way to get a job in tech. I run tech companies, and trust me, sometimes even when we are not recruiting, there's a way you will approach us, and I'm just going to invite you for a chat. I might not have any vacancy for you there, but I can tell you to probably come to our office and just shadow around. Just work with us for like 3 months. All I'm trying to do, right, is to create a space for you because you've shown me value. So there's a strategy, there's a way to go about landing your first job. The first job in tech is the hardest to get. Why? You have no experience, you have no network, you are just new, and there are a lot of people at the bottom. There are always a lot of people trying to get into any industry, any job at all, right? A lot of beginners. But as you go on into the industry, it starts to like get streamlined and, you know, few people, right? So, but there's a way to go about it. And, you know, you're going to find what aspect of tech is good for you, how to go about your learning, and how to, you know, get a job after you've learned. So I want to pick somebody from the audience and use this person as a practical. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to help you on this call, find an aspect of tech that I think you should go into, and I'll give you a roadmap that, you know, things you need to learn to be able to be marketable or hireable. And when you are done learning, I'm also going to tell you how you can get your first job. So I want somebody from the audience to volunteer. I will ask you a few questions about you. Once you tell me, you know, the answer to those questions, then I'm going to, okay, I can do for two people. First come, first serve. So the first person, we have two people already. So if we still have time, so but I think the first two people, we have Olajumoke and we have Oluwatosin. Yeah, so let's do Olajumoke and Oluwatosin. So Olajumoke, please unmute your mic. Tell us about yourself. I will ask you some follow-up questions, and I will suggest a couple of, you know, aspect of tech that I think I may be wrong, but most times from experience, from people I've mentored, you know, I'll suggest a couple of aspects in tech that I think, you know, you should venture into. So yes, let's have your Olajumoke.
Um, my background basically is economics, industrial relations, and personnel management. Then HRM, that's human resource management. And before you actually suggest to me, I am actually looking forward to going into business analysis. That's being a business analyst. So that's just my background, majorly business operations.
Hmm. Thank you so much, Olajumoke. So you have a background in economics, which shows that you are very, very, very conversant with, you know, data, microeconomics,
Yes,
you know, and all of those.
micro, macro.
Yes, macro,
Yes.
all of those things. HRM too, like, is very, very, very related. But I will suggest two aspects for you. One is business analytics, you know, business intelligence and analytics. Another will be people,
Okay.
another will be people analytics. So there's a new, you know, aspect of HR now that a lot of tech companies are doing. They call it people analytics.
Okay.
So it's just all about
Yeah.
using data to, you know, monitor things or evaluating like employee performance, employee size to revenue ratios, you know, all employee happiness and all of those things. So that's what people analytics, you know, is all about. And if you can learn tools, like, you need a lot of Excel, zero coding. You also need a lot of, you know, Power BI, you know, zero coding at all. For operations in tech companies, again, there's somebody called Babajide. I don't know his surname now, but he's one of the top guys in operations, you know, in tech. My own experience running tech companies, the operation is very important. Operation is very difficult. You know, a lot of us founders, we can create the companies, we have the visions, we've poured a lot of money, we can raise money, but getting things to like work every single day, right, in tech is a different ball game. It's not like restaurant or civil service or something. So operations is a thing you can look into. Business intelligence and analytics is something you can look into. People analytics is something you can look into. And I've mentioned the tools that, you know, you need to learn, but beyond the tools, you need a lot of domain knowledge. So if you're learning business analytics, for instance, of course, you already know this. You have to learn a lot of, you know, operations, you know, how does businesses actually, so that you know what you are measuring and you know the impact of what you're doing. So you need to take courses, you know, around that first off, before even learning your Excel, Power BI. You need a very little, you know, statistics, fundamental level, because you're going to be dealing with a lot of data. You're going to be, you know, finding a lot of averages, a lot of mean relationship between variables, you know, dispersions, you know, all of those things. So you need some statistics. At the end of learning all of these things, you need to work on projects like case studies, you know, personal projects, any kind of project, So work on those projects, create a portfolio, have at least 3 projects in your portfolio, maybe tailored to an industry that you would like to work for. So for instance, you might have a team for banking, for e-commerce, and say logistics, right? I don't like healthcare and pharmaceuticals. I've not really worked for. Fine, we've had clients from that sector. So, but like, I don't have a team. Engineer, all those guys, I don't really do. So streamline to 3 industries that you would like to get into. For each of those 3 industries, pick 3 projects on each of them. Then do those projects, do like a detailed report, put them on your portfolio. What does that help you to do? If you have that and you want to probably get a job with a bank or anybody in financial sector, right? You're going to be showcasing projects you've done, business analytics project that you've done relative to that industry. If it's logistic, you are going to be showing them projects, excuse me, relative to that industry. And 80% of the time, showing potential employers and recruiters project that is related to their industry. You're already speaking their language. In fact, from your project, they're already picturing how you're going to solve. I mean, they're employing you to solve a problem. So they're already picturing that, oh, this person speaks our language, understands our industry, has done projects related to the problems we're having. And a lot of time, that is what, finally determines who get the job. 3, 4, 5 people might make it to the final stage, but the person that ultimately gets the job is that person that is able to show that, hey, I'm not just a generic business analyst. I've done something for finance. I've done something for logistics. So I think if you follow this step, you're going to very, very likely land your first job in 3 months. So I don't know if that helps.
Yeah, it does. Thank you so much. It
Yeah,
does.
of course. If you have questions, you can just write them down. We'll get to that part. So let's have Odoa.
Okay.
All right. So good evening, sir.
Good evening, Tose.
Yeah. So for me, I like anything around sales, marketing, and management. So what do you think, sir?
Okay, you like sales, you like marketing. Okay. What did you
And
study?
anything around. What did you say, sir?
Like, what did you study?
Okay, microbiology.
Interesting. So, I mean, let's not talk about Nigerian education. Sometimes you're going to Lagos and what you study will face Kaduna, something like that. So I like the fact that you like sales, you like marketing. There's a lot of money to be made in tech, like tech marketing. We have a product called Parrot that we beta launched, a few months ago. And all we've been recruiting for in the last 3 weeks is people that have some good experience with marketing, right? So under tech, you have, product marketing, you have growth marketing, you have digital marketing broadly, but more specifically, we are looking for people that are good with SEO, search engine optimization. You have content marketing. We're also looking for people that are good with Google Analytics, just marketing analytics, right? All the marketing campaigns, everything you do, at the end of it, you're fetching data from your billboard, your social media ad, your YouTube, your PPC, all of these things gives you data, right? Marketing analytics is one very hot aspect of marketing in tech now that is very, very, very hot. It's not just analytics, it's analytics and marketing. So it's always people that are very good with marketing and also good with the technology aspect of it, which is where the analytics and comes in. So these are the guys that know how to use, of course, things like Google Analytics. These are the guys that know how to use like Apps Flyer, to do like mobile app marketing and stuff. There are guys that know how to use mixed panel. So there are just a lot of roles in marketing. So, but I like the fact that you know what you like. There are big opportunities in tech. So just do further research about tech marketing, do research about product marketing, do research about content marketing, marketing analytics, user behavior. So just do a research about all of those things. And I think once you streamline, if you want to streamline to any of these things, take the necessary learn. I will not be able to tell you learn this, learn that, because there are several options for you. under marketing in tech, right? So, but one thing is also very important. You need a portfolio to be able to get your first job. It sounds counter somehow that I've not gotten a job. What should be on my portfolio, right? Pick a company, pick a tech company or a new tech product, develop a campaign or a strategy for them. If you are focused on marketing analytics, for instance, your work is not to go and say, oh, they should do social media, do this. Tell us some KPIs that you think they should measure. Tell them how they will get those data. Create like a dashboard for them with dummy data, right? Do your analysis, put a short report and whatever there. Put things like this in your portfolio, and I bet you anybody, recruiter, founders, CMOs, that you might pitch to, that, hey, even if they are not hiring, they are going to take a second look, at your application. So this is how I think you can, get into tech. Don't be carried away. Don't think, hey, there's a ton of money in tech marketing. I mean, of course, some tech companies that sponsored Big Brother and the like, they spent a lot of money. The marketing teams behind those campaigns is more than let's print flyers, let's do billboards. So tech marketing is hot. Tech marketing is lucrative. The fact that you have interest in it is like a double advantage, because marketing is something that if you don't like it, you can't wing it. So I don't know if that helps, but there are
Yeah,
opportunities for you in tech. Like don't sleep on it, I beg.
all right, so thank you very much.
Yeah, so those are the two people. Somebody's raising a hand, Henry. So Henry, please just, if this question can wait, we have a session for question and answer. So let's just have the question during that period. Let's not. Does that help, Henry? Is that fine?
No, it's a follow-up to the response you just gave to the last person who asked the question. Okay, so his own situation is that he loves marketing. So mine is just a little twist to it. Mine is that I've been in the sales space for over 10 years. I'm an experienced sales person with over 10 years of experience in fast-moving consumer goods. So I'm just thinking, how do I transition? Because marketing obviously is the area that aligns with my skill set. So I'm just thinking, how can I transition to digital, not digital marketing now, to tech marketing, so to say.
I have to tell you that you have some very valuable experience that we should pay you some big dollars I have somebody that transitioned like that, a sales business development person with a commercial bank, currently works with the US telecommunication person. So your transition is going to look like you are moving from sales in FMCG. Again, I love FMCGs. They are the biggest buyers of data, of market research and the like. So yeah, I love you guys a lot. You give us money. So, but like transitioning for you is going to be moving from sales in FMCG to tech sales. Tech sales is usually for companies that do, say, B2B tech products. I'll give you an example, Seamless HR. So Seamless HR is an HR tech company. They build softwares that enterprise use to process, payroll, all of those things. And they sell these softwares to big companies like bank, multinationals, MTN, and the like. What they hire for the most is people for tech sales, right? The beauty of some of these roles, tech sales, tech marketing, is that they are recurrent. Tech engineering, sometimes once your product is stable, right, you start to like scale down your team. Sometimes this is how most of us tech company, including me, once we build the product is stable, we have to like just scale down. But it's still sales marketing. So your transition is going to be tech sales. Tech sales is a different ball game entirely. You need to learn about tech. You need to learn, a little tech jargons here and there, like API integrations, all of these things. You're not learning to build those products. So you can take your sales experience, your sales knowledge. When you start upskilling on tech, when you start learning about the tech industry and everything like that. So there's a roadmap. I don't have it in my head. I've bundled it in a course, by the way. It's in that course. So there's a roadmap that you can follow from being a salesperson in FMCG to being a salesperson in tech. So they call it tech sales, they call it B2B business developer, they call it different name. But I have to tell you the truth. The last 2 years has been humbling for those of us in tech, especially tech founders. We've come to realize that, look, at the end of the day, marketing and sales is the blood of the company. After we've built our software, after we've built our blockchain, we built on, metaverse, we built whatever, we need to make money. So a lot of tech companies, Paystar currently has a role, I think in Kenya, something similar to, either country manager or sales something. So a lot of companies are going big and hard on marketing and very big on sales. So yeah, what you are going to learn is tech sales. You're already a salesperson, beautiful. You have experience already, great. But you have to take that experience, take it into tech, and that is what I think it is for you. Is that helpful?
Exactly, it is very well
Please,
said. Very well
please
said.
don't
Just
guys.
if the roadmap then be concise enough to really put me through in the right direction of the kind of course I need to study, the kind of materials I need to grab and all of that. That would be very great
Yeah,
to have.
So, but beyond that, I would also, if you can probably send me a mail, there are communities of tech salespeople on Twitter, on
Great.
Instagram. A couple of them are my friends. We can get into those. You are sitting on gold. 10 years experience in sales is not child's play. Like sales. After I finished talking to today, I sat in marketing and sales meeting all through. I've been doing that for like 3 days now. Tuesday, yesterday, Thursday, and today, right? We've engineered, we've done everything. We won't eat the software. We need to make money.
Exactly. Of course. Yeah, you're right.
Anybody that can help tech companies make money, trust me, we are looking for you.
Beautiful. Just can I have your email address so I can reach out to you just after the call?
Yes. I'm going to drop it on the chat box. So somebody else is raising a hand. Ayo, we quickly have you.
Thank you. Good evening, Mr. Wale.
Good evening.
Well done. Thanks for the enlightenment.
You're
Please,
welcome.
I would like to know what aspect I can move into because I am a civil engineer by profession and I currently work as a researcher with an agency. I'm just a researcher, publish papers and come up with proposals and carry out experiments and all that. So I don't know
Okay, so
where I can really fit into. I would like to know if you can help me.
okay, so for the sake of time, I will just summarize this way. If you love research, right, it's one thing to be doing something, it's another thing to like love it. If you love research, again, what you need to do is to take your research and bring it to tech. So if you love research, then I mean there are already a lot of roles in tech. It just pains me that these roles are silent. I keep saying this, I made my first big lump money. You can make 10 million, 500K, 200K, join everything together like that, until you've made 10 million. But like my first lump major money at once came from tech research. So if you love research, so I don't think you should leave research. Just understand there are different aspects of tech. If research is your thing, then you can go into tech research. We're already at 8 o'clock, and inside the offer I want to give you, that I want to tell you guys about, there is an aspect where I talk about all these 5 pillars in tech. I talked about them in depth. I talk about the different roles under each of them, and there's a roadmap for each of them. So I think that's just like somebody else is raising a hand. So let's just try to round this up and get to the question and answer session. Is that fine? Is that fine?
That's fine.
All right.
That's fine. That's fine.
Cool. Yeah, so I mentioned at the beginning of this call that I have an offer for you. Now, even if you're not going to take this offer, and you've come, I want to just believe you've gotten value for your time, you've gotten value for registering for the webinar. And if you stop here and you implement what you have learned in this webinar, I'm very happy, I'm very fulfilled. So, but if you want to take it further, I would want you to, get into this program. I've put a program together called the Full Stack Tech Income Blueprints for non-coders. There are just opportunities I keep saying this, Probably because I'm building in tech, probably because I have years of experience. No, there are a lot of opportunities in tech that people are not even thinking about. Same way everybody wants to go to US, UK, Canada, US, UK, Canada, US, UK, Canada. There are other countries in the world with fantastic packages, for immigrants. What is inside this course? In this course, I talked about 30 different roles in tech and what they do. Look, I gave a detailed explanation. The explanation part alone is like about 3 hours. I picked research and development and picked the several roles under it and explain it. So if you want to get clarity, I feel like this is the biggest issue. A lot of people don't know what aspect of tech to venture into. They are just hearing tech. Where exactly should I go into? You can't know where to go into until you know what exactly is in tech. What are the opportunities available? You need that knowledge, you need that clarity, first of all, before you can now start deciding that, oh, I think this aspect is best for me based on my skill set, my personality, my experience, and my interest, right? This is the first thing inside this course. You need to understand, otherwise you just be wasting your time, spending money on trainings. And at the end of the day, you won't be able to say, okay, this is what I want to do, right? The second thing inside this course is for all the aspect of tech that I talked about 30 of them, I provided a step-by-step roadmap that says, hey, you want to transition from sales in FMCG to tech sales, this and this and this is what you should learn. Such that if you take those courses, you can take them online, you can take them physical, you can do online, anywhere you like, you can take those courses from. But the guarantee is that if you follow the roadmap, the end result is that you become that thing. So you want to go into product design. If you follow that roadmap, you become a product designer. Now, the reason the roadmap is the second thing in that course is I want you to get clarity first. Don't do product because I say you should go and do products. Don't do product because product is the reigning thing. Don't go into, say, UX writing because I've talked about it, right? I need you to get clarity. I need you to know how tech works. I need you to know about the rules yourself. So once you have that thing that, okay, this is what I want to do, the next step is, oh, this is the roadmap that you need to follow. These are the things you need to learn. I even attach like links to those courses. Some of those courses are free on Udemy. Some of them are paid on Udemy, right? And some other platforms. I'm not the one selling those courses. No. I have a tech company that does tech training. I didn't put anything from that company, right? So I have no incentive. I'm not using this to drive people to come and, buy training from us. No, none of those roadmap has anything to do with in fact, my company does not offer most of them anyway. So, but if you follow that roadmap, you are going to become that aspect of tech, right? That you've already figured out in the first step. Now, after you've become whatever it is, I feel like most of us get into tech to make money. I don't want to learn earn another certificate for the joy of it or just for the fun. I want to get a job. I want to land a gig. I want to make money, with these skills. So the major thought in that program is there's a strategy, a guaranteed step by step, that if you follow it, in 90 days, you're going to get your first job or land your first internship. Trust me, the first job, the first internship is the hardest. Once you get the first job, it can only go upward from. A lot of people get frustrated. They've learned tech, yes. But after learning tech, what next? Where do I get the job? How do I go about it? How do I get foreign jobs? How do I get local job? How do I get to be visible to recruiters? I know you can think, oh, is it not just to be applying? No, I talked about applying for jobs, and I also did like a reverse engineering, how to get yourself into tech companies even when they are not hiring. Now, this number 3 is a course on its own that I plan to, just monetize and sell, because there are a lot of people here that they've learned tech, but they don't know how to get their job, right? So this is like a whole course on its own, and it's very detailed, trust me. It's very detailed because I'm a detailed person. I don't want you to buy my course and, it just doesn't work for you. I didn't put something together just to like make money. And actually I'm not really like living on this, to be honest, but I can't put all of this together again, for free. So these are the three main things inside the course. You're going to get clarity, different aspect of tech that does not require coding, what they actually do, what a day in their lives look like, the roadmap that you can follow, that if you follow it, you become that thing. After you become that thing, there is now another course. Inside that course that I will teach you how to land your first job or how to get your first internship. If you can follow it 100%, you're going to get, a job or an internship in 90 days. And there's a money back guarantee. If it doesn't work for you, provided you follow it, in 30 days, if you do all of this, I'm going to, return your money. I also put as bonuses in that course, I created a list of tech companies, local foreign companies that are currently recruiting, and those that are even open to recruitment, even when they are not, actively putting it, out there. I've talked about this technique, right? If you don't want to go the regular route of getting a job, I have a lot of mentees that are freelancing. I have a lot of mentees that are just changing job after 6 months, 1 year, across different aspects of tech. So there's a technique, there's a way to go about it. People just don't leave a job after 1 year to be searching for another job. No, a lot of time they are doing this job, they have another offer at hand, right? There's a way to go about it. Sometimes you need to reach out to potential employers on LinkedIn, on Twitter, and there's a way to go about it too. A lot of times I wonder why people don't know these things, but I've just come to realize that I have an unfair advantage. Number of years that I've been in this industry, having been on that side, work with different companies, foreign local companies, and now being, the last 7 years building tech companies. So I've just stopped assuming that, oh, everybody should know these things. So there's a way to reach out on LinkedIn. People are sleeping on LinkedIn a lot. There are jobs flying around, but there's a way to, go about it. I provided about 40 CV templates for different roles. So pick product design, for instance. I created a sample CV for an entry-level product designer. What should your CV look like, right? It's also, in that course as a bonus for more than 30 different roles in tech. Same thing for portfolio, right? It's also, in that course. To get into the course, the offer is straight up, is 35,000 naira. I've explained why it's very important that I take money for this. Hopefully, we're able to even make enough to cover the cost of, creating, recording the courses, marketing it, putting things like this webinar together and all of this. So this is the link. If you want to check out the course, or if you want to buy the course, straight up, I think, let me put it on the chat box. I've dropped the link on the chat box. If it interests you, if you've gotten value from this webinar, within this 1 hour, and you feel like I'm going to be able to give you some, further value, then I really want you to, get into this program. Do I want you to buy? The answer is yes. So that we can just continue to just put something like this, together. Keep creating content like this, keep getting a lot of people, into tech. So I've dropped the link on the, I've dropped the link on the chat box. So click on it. It goes for 35,000 naira. Is 35K a lot of money? Well, I will say yes and no, right? I know the economy is hard, but I also know that some of us can spend this 35K, in a week, in 2 weeks, and everything like that. So please check the chat box if you're interested in getting this offer. Check the chat box. The link is there. You can make the payment. Once you make payment, you'll be enrolled, into the course. So let's go back to, taking questions. Now, this is what the page looks like. I really wish I got something like this when I was about to get into tech. And I wish, like some other people that I've met that have been able to help, I really wish they got something like this, when they were getting into tech. Some of them have spent 500K, 1 million, learning, going for different boot camps. And at the end of the day, when I met them, we just both concluded that, hey, maybe tech coding in tech is not even like, a thing for them. So 35K is going to be a worthy investment. People are already living, I expect that. So, but the most important thing is that I hope they've gotten value for this 1 hour. So if you are still here and you're serious about getting into tech in the next 6 months, you want to know what aspect of tech to focus on. You want to, you don't want to just be winging it, learn this only to come back to this, right? You want to get a roadmap step by step. You need a guide, you need a mentor, right? I didn't get my big break in tech until I met the mentors. Like I've been making small money doing this, doing that. The day I met the mentor, that was really like the turning point for me. He had experience, years of experience. I had different skills. I didn't even know which to focus on, right? And he was just able to guide me. And really, I would say like it was at that point that I really became big in tech and started making enough to even build tech companies, right? So if you need a mentor, if you need somebody to guide you, if you just don't want to be winging it, then I think you should get into this program. Beyond buying the course, you have access to me, right? You can always reach out. I can jump on calls, with you, to unblock you. You can always send emails and trust that I will always reply. These are some FAQs that I've gotten about this course. Is it very easy to follow? Trust me, if I explain something to you and you don't understand it, it's very easy. I sort of demystify tech. Everybody, a 10 years old, a 15 years old can, understand this. How much time would it take you? You don't have, that's the thing, there's no pressure. But if you can dedicate 1 hour, per day, in 1 week, you will get the clarity you need. You will know what to do, right? How fast will you get results? This depends absolutely on you. I like doers. I like people that do. Don't just buy my course and put it in your archive. If you don't want to, please. If you don't want to, please don't even bother buying the course, right? Oh, somebody already paid for the course. This is wonderful. Wow, 4 people now. If you don't want to do, please, I beg you, just don't waste your money, right? If you don't want to do, if you put all of these things, both what I've talked about in this course, right? Wow, thank you. Somebody just paid too. If you put these things into practice, you are going to get results. Your life can change the next 6 months. Whether you take action or you don't take action, in 6 months' time, the 6 months will come and the 6 months will go. If you can dedicate the next 6 months to following everything I've taught you on this webinar, to follow everything I'm teaching you in that course, I guarantee you in 6 months, you are going to get results, but only if you do. People are also asking, how long do I have access to? You have access. Once you buy it, you have unlimited access. I'm not going to kick you out after 3 months or 6 months because some of these things will even help you. Some of the things in the course, they will help you even after you've landed a job. It's more or less like I put my experience over 15 years together and bundled it, into this, right? So it depends on you. I want you to take this offer. It's a guarantee that in 6 months you will be in tech, either with your job or with your internship, right? And you won't just be in tech winging it. You will have direction and you'll be doing, what you love to do in tech. So let's have some questions and answers. If you have questions, drop it in the chat box and let's see how many of them we can answer. Again, I've dropped the link, but let me drop it again. I'm dropping the link to the full course. I've dropped it on the chat box again. You can just click directly and go to that page. I would really love is to take this offer. That's the only way I get encouraged to do, do courses like this. I spend days, shooting, recording these videos, editing. It has like a mini team of content editors, and the like. And trust, if I tell you how much you've spent putting this together, it's over 1 million. So more or less, I'm not even trying to make profit of this. I'm just trying to get the cost of putting this program together. I'm just trying to, get that. So if you think you're going to get value, please head up to that page and get into the program. It's a worthy investment. So if you have questions, please drop your questions on the chat box and let's see if we can spend the next few minutes. Okay. Air of the world. Wow, I love this. Air of the world sounds like you will inherit the world. I have a question. I'm presently in my third of undergoing a training in data science. My question is there any data science role that doesn't require coding? And is there any non-coding role that can be combined with data science? Okay, now data science require coding 100%. I run a data company and I'll be very blank with you. If you still say data analysis, yes. If you still say business analytics, yes. Data science is that aspect of data that you get to, that you start to like build models, start to do some machine learning things. All of these require hard coding. Python, a lot of Python. You can't dodge Python, you can't dodge SQL. Some use R, there's Julia, there's Scala, a lot of them, right? So there's no data science without coding. And data science also requires a lot of mathematics and statistics, whether you like it or not. Everything you call machine learning at the end of the day is some advanced mathematics. Regression is a lot of mathematics and statistics. So data science require coding. And I will advise you, if you are already into data science and you are struggling at it, I would not advise that you continue. I'm a data scientist by practice, by profession. I did my master's in data science, by the way. So I really know this field in and out, right? It requires coding. You can't dodge it. There's no way. You said, are there non-coding roles that can be? If you love the data industry, data is another industry entirely. Under data, there's data analytics, there's data science, there's analytics engineering, there's data engineering, there's data collector. There are all sorts of roles in data as well. So, but a lot of them requires coding. Analytics engineering requires some level of coding, right? Because your work majorly is like cleaning data, making data usable. Data engineers build data pipelines that carries data from somewhere, data warehouse, wherever, to where that data will be used. Data analytics engineer ensures that the data being carried is clean and is usable, right? So data science require coding, in short. Find other roles in tech, in data, I mean, that doesn't require coding. That is if you are convinced that data is for you. You don't want to go outside of data, right? Then there are a few roles in data that doesn't require coding. But you see this data science, oh, plenty coding, plenty math, plenty statistics. I don't know if that's helpful. Oh, hair of the world, did you hear me? Okay, so, okay, if you're supposed to get good paying job using your skills in Microsoft Excel, which is it? Is it possible to get good paying jobs? Yes, I would say it is possible. It now depends on where you are looking at, right? If I'm good in Microsoft Excel, trust me, I will be on freelancing platforms collecting gigs. Excel is just so sweet, so powerful. And in tech, we need to understand that it is not all of us, right, that are going to get like proper 9 to 5. When I was transitioning from being a freelancer to working with companies, I realized something. I made more money freelancing than working with those companies. I worked with them because I needed experience. But when it comes to money, I made more money that way than working for companies. So you might also consider freelancing route, right? I know freelance is a different ball game. There's a way to go about freelancing, right? People have tried it and they are not getting it, or they have just like made small money and cool. I made a ton of money from freelancing. I freelanced for more than 5 years or 7 years or thereabouts. So can you get job with just Excel? Yes, you can get, but it's just sort of scarce and and the like. Even companies that are not using these big technologies, when they are recruiting, they will put all the big technologies there because everybody wants to appear like recent. Everyone wants to appear like, hey, we're in vogue. When they eventually employ you and you start working, you realize that 70-80% of your work na Excel you they use. So they won't outrightly put it out there that we're looking for somebody that can do something with macro and the likes. But if I'm very good with Excel, I will go and look for a lot of freelancing gig. How do you go about freelancing? It's a lot. It's beyond the scope of this. Maybe I'll put a webinar together for that. This freelancing is part of what I was teaching people then, 2019. The day I had that accident, that was what I went to train people on in Lagos. So, but you have a very marketable skill. Instead of looking just for job, you can also look for gigs. Any other question, please? Please just put it in the chat box. Please, if you are interested in that course, please, the link is still on the chat box. The link is still right there on the chat box. The link is there. Yeah, please just put either unmute your mic or put your question in. How long is this offer for? So this offer will run till Monday for those that aren't ready now. It just depends on the price might go up, but the goal for us for this offer, so to speak, is to recoup at least the money we spent, creating the content, putting marketing and all of those things. So you can have the offer, till Monday, but maybe during the weekend, we plan to increase the price to 50K because we'll have to think how many people we sell to make that money back. Does that answer your question, Henry? Cool. Please, if you have a question, unmute your mic or put it in the chat box. Unmute your mic, put it in the chat box. Unmute your mic. In the absence of, okay. You are seeing a strong interest in tech. I'm currently doing my ground on which area to dive into for my field of study. Okay, very beautiful. Timmy, breaking news. Everybody that I've employed as an employer, at least I've employed more than 150 people across 3 companies. None of them, none, 0 of them have we ever asked what they study or have a copy of their certificate or NYSC. The beauty about tech is not necessarily that you study civil engineering. I think the first question is, do you want to practice civil engineering? If the answer is no, I mean, for you to want to get into tech, it might be that you don't want to practice, or you've not gotten the opportunity you're looking for, right? How do you know what aspect of tech to go into? You have to check your interest. You have to check your competencies, right? Are you good with maths? Are you good with logic, logic reasoning and the like? If you are, then coding roles might be for you, right? If you feel like the coding things is not for you, then there are a lot of non-coding roles that I can't start to talk about one by one. I've mentioned some already, so but there are about 30 of them that I talked about in Discord, in the course that I've put together. But let me just put a caveat for you and for everybody trying to get into tech. I beg of you, before you waste effort, time, and money learning anything, please get clarity first. Be sure that, you know why? Because it takes time for you to master any of the skill. So imagine you've spent 6 months now learning product design, only to now, oh, this is not even my thing, another 6 months, and time is going. So get clarity first. There are several aspects of tech, right? So by the end of the day, you are the person that knows your interest. You are the person that is going to choose that, oh, based on my experience, my skills, my competency, my interest, I think this aspect of tech that Wale has explained will be the best fit for me. So that's what I've done in that course. I picked about 30 of them, did a thorough explanation, with illustrations and everything, provided a roadmap that, look, now that you've made up your mind to go into this is the roadmap. This is what you need to do. And after you have finished learning this is how to get a job. So you are the only person in that position, and sometimes your course of study is not a pointer to what aspect of tech that you should go into. Always dance to your strengths in tech. If your strength is, if you are creative, you like imagination and stuff, go into product. It's your area of strength. Play to your strength. Don't play to what you studied in school. So I don't know if that is helpful to me. Timmy, please say hi in the chat box. Is it helpful? Have I answered your question? Have I answered? All right, great. Any other question from anyone? We still have some 5 minutes. We can call it a day.
Yes, please. Good evening, Mr. Wale.
Good evening.
Yes. I don't know if you mentioned the different aspects of tech that do not require coding. Maybe you did, and I joined quite late when you did. So, but not to draw you back again, I just want to say, somebody like me who I'm in civil service. I work with the government as an administrator. So basically, we do the admin aspect of civil service job and all. But I have my first degree was microbiology. Currently doing a master's in information management. So, what aspect of tech do you think I can fit in?
Okay. So again, the aspect of tech you can fit in should still largely boil down to your interests and your strengths. Tech is broad, right? I think the master's you're doing is already like a step into tech. You're already moving from microbiology to say, information management. Information management is also broad, right? There are a lot of things there. There is a security aspect, there's a lot of data governance and compliance thing that is happening right now. There are compliances like all these ISO and all of those things, right? So, but ultimately, what I would say is that please and please and please, beyond what you've studied, beyond your current job, beyond your current masters, you need to understand the various aspects in tech, right? Then with that understanding, then go back and cross-check yourself that, oh, I now know about 30 aspects in tech that does not require coding, and I know what they exactly do. Then you can start working back on and say, oh, these are my strengths. Oh, I studied this. I know how to do this. I have this experience. Then transition, right? But it's always like impossible for me to just say, hey, go into this. I can do that, but I'll be doing you like a lot of disservice than even helping you when I'm the one that I'm picked, like, go and do this. I can only suggest, right? So, but since you're doing information management, database administration is there. Database administration is very, 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 very hot. We are talking about a lot of cloud infrastructures now. Cloud engineering is there, cloud security is there. So there are just a ton of opportunities, right? If you want to base it on the information management that you're studying. But the final answer to give you is still that, hey, you need to understand the different aspects of tech for yourself. Then do like a backward, what's going to my mind is backward integration, but that's not it. But so do like a backward engineering that now that I know what these things are really about, I have like the right information to make an informed decision. So you make that decision ultimately yourself.
Okay, so how do I know the different aspect of tech? And then, is there like a checklist one can use to measure one's strengths? Because sometimes like that, these things can be very dicey. But once there's like a checklist, okay, this is what you can do, this is what you can do. They are like bullet points, like a checklist. Okay, this is what I can do. Easily identify my strength and my weakness and where I can actually fit in. So there are like two questions I just asked. So I don't know if you could.
So is there a checklist? Yes, there is a checklist, right? That is exactly what I've done in that course. So I just picked a role in tech, explain it, talk about what it requires, and the like, what you must know and the like, right? At the end of taking that course, you are not going to end up with just one. You have like 2, 3, 4 aspects of tech that you might, be able to fit in. During the training, so let's say you've picked 4 things now from the course. When you start going through the roadmap, the roadmap will further guide you, right, on what aspects, to go to. For most of them, there's a checklist, but ultimately, there's always a difference between you learning product design. When you start doing product design, there are a lot of other things too that you are going to realize when you start doing. You are not going to realize them when, for instance, now, a product designer, if I want to tell you a checklist, I will tell you you must be creative. You must be able to like play with colors and all of those things, right? And you say, yeah, product design is for you. That's correct. You go and learn product design. When you start doing product design, the work itself, so you're working with clients or organization, you will now discover a lot of checklists too. So for instance, as a product designer, you must have something for data. Why? Because when you build your products, you will do usability testing. Usability testing is data. So at the end of the day, you are coming back, you realize you need to learn some aspect of data, just minimal to do your job, right? But data is never going to be on the checklist for what you should know to be a product designer. So the key thing is still like interest. When you know what each of these roles are about, trust me, 100%, you will get that clarity that, oh, somebody that does this, somebody that this is the value they bring to tech companies, you will just get that clarity on what you need to know, right? Then you can now ask yourself, okay, am I even interested in, if you want to do tech sales, for instance, you must like presentation by default. You must be able to use tools like Jira, tools like Asana and several other tools. So understanding tech sales thoroughly will automatically give you that clarity or that thing that you call checklist. Does that help?
Yes, it does. Thank you very much.
You're
Yes.
welcome. So we have one more hand. So let's take this last one before we call it a day. Thank you guys, for staying this long. I plan to stay for 1 hour as well. So I will still have like 20 people on the call. This is a lot. So one more question from Rems and we can call it a day. Or if you have a question, you can put it in the chat box.
Yeah. Thank you very much for this enlightening session. I appreciate. Actually, I wanted to ask a question, like on what I should venture into initially, but when you said something about pharmacy and health, you do not really like, I got kind of discouraged, but I just said, let me still ask. So I'm a physiotherapist, a medical practitioner, and I do not want to like totally leave the line. I don't know if I can get something that would make me merge. I think I like researching and solving problems. And I think I've also tried, no, I think I've tried data science, machine learning, actually. No, artificial intelligence. But the whole coding thing was just too much for me, coupled with reading medical issues and the likes. So I just said, no, I can't do this. But I don't know if the course too has something that's, that would be for me before I register and like,
Okay, yeah.
yeah.
So I love your 1 second. So I love your scenario. I love your scenario because you already have like a domain knowledge. You're in the pharmaceutical field, right? Or the health line, and you love it. That is good. Now, there are a lot of opportunities in tech for people like you. It might not necessarily mean you're going to leave your job and probably go into tech or whatever. No. So, but if you love data, for instance, I mentioned in this webinar that I have a friend that works with AstraZeneca, is a proper medical healthcare guy. So when he went into tech, he went into data. And he has the domain knowledge, he has the interest and everything. And that was what got him. He's a data scientist with AstraZeneca. So he's working in his domain, but he's doing the tech job in health, something like that. Other opportunities are also flying around. So recently, I knew a company, I think a German company, that was looking for healthcare professionals that knows how to do motion design. So motion design for the healthcare field, right? That's what they were recruiting for. Research is also there. Companies like Ipsos, like Kantar, right? They have tech jobs. Healthcare guys, right, that want to probably focus on research. I've been on 3, 4, 5 of such, of such projects before. And when I said I don't really like healthcare, I'm just speaking based on my experience, right? I'm also speaking based on my interest. We've done a lot of projects for healthcare companies. So there are opportunities for you in tech. But I don't think you should leave your healthcare because you seem to like that domain. You have experience, you have education there. So, but several opportunities, even creating healthcare content writing, uh what do they call this thing? Motion images, caricatured, animations, all of these things. For healthcare domain, they are very, 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 very scarce. Data is the right way to go to. Like, you guys have a lot of data, you use a lot of data, but you can't do data science, you can't do machine learning, you can't do AI, right, without coding. But you can do data analysis for healthcare without coding, right? So I don't know if that helps at all.
Well, the data analysis does not also does it not involve me having knowledge on maths or statistics and other things? Like I don't want any other thing that will be so big for me. So like, I don't know if you
Yeah,
understand right.
I get you. So for data, it depends on how far you want to go. For data analysis, you need basic statistics. The mathematics, trust me, is the mathematics that you already know that saw you through your current, at best, you will do a lot of descriptive analytics. It's really nothing complex. You need maths. Right now, you are using maths in your job, right? And there's a math you've learned supporting you here to an extent, right? So you don't need those heavy maths, but I'm not going to tell you won't do it, because when you plot your chart, when you plot your bar chart, you're going to tell us X% as this, X%. That percent itself is maths. You're going to tell us that, oh, maybe it's this sample that you've collected that has the highest level. That is maths. That is statistics, right? So for data analysis, you're not going to need any mathematics that you don't already know. So we're going to have issues when you want to start doing things like machine learning. That is hardcore mathematics and statistics. In fact, everything machine learning starts. AI, a lot of it too. So, but you can stay in data and make a lot of money within your domain, like learning Excel and Power BI alone is a lot, and like really going to position you. So I have guys from finance too. Like finance is similar to this. There are finance folks that want to get into tech. This old data coding and stuff, it's also not for them. What one of them did is that she has a knowledge of finance, right? She learned a tech tool with which she was able to like build models. She learned Excel, learned Power BI, and one other software. And what she works with KPMG, by the way. What she's doing right now is that she's collecting those gigs from foreign guys. You want to build a model to do this, to do that, right? She just used those software and make her money from it. So she's still in her industry and she's still one leg, into tech. She could use those software and she's sort of making some very good, even more than her salary from it. So I think the same applies to you. You can stay with data, but leave the AI, leave the machine learning. You can't escape mathematics. You can't escape statistics if you want to go and do those heavy stuff. But learn basic tools like Excel. Excel is not basic. I'm sorry to have Excel is crazy. So Excel is not going to require any coding from you. Power BI is not going to require any coding from you. The only thing now is that you're streamlining your service to healthcare. So you could learn it and be so good that you apply to an health tech company. You could apply to an health organization. We have somebody that moved from our company to World Bank. She does public health and all of those analytics. So she's a data analyst here, but she moved to World Bank and focused on her domain, which is public health, and stuff like that. So yeah, there's a space for you in tech, but please avoid data science, avoid AI and co. Is that helpful? I think she left. So thank you, everybody. Thank you for the attention. Thank you for your time. Thank you for staying this long. And thanks to those people that bought the course. I encourage, everybody on this call, if you're serious about getting into tech, you have a sibling, you have a brother, sister, friend that wants to get into tech, trust me, you should get this course. The clarity you need. I don't want you winging it. I don't want you just merry-go-rounding and, and like get clarity. 35,000 naira is really too small. It's not too much, right? For you to, get clarity, get a roadmap, and most importantly, learn how to, get a job afterward. So Rems, I noticed you just joined. I will share the recording of this webinar. So, but the summary to your question is that you can get into tech, stay with data, don't venture into data science, machine learning, and co. Please, 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 it's going to take a lot, require you to do a lot of math and statistics. Stay with data analysis. There are a lot of opportunities for you. Learn Excel, learn Power BI, right? And just focus on doing things within your domain. You can get jobs with, health tech startups, health tech companies, and the like. We have a case of somebody like that in my company. She is a data analyst, or she was a data analyst. She's a public health person. Ultimately, her domain knowledge in public health and her tech skill in data eventually got her to World Bank, and she works something public health and something like that. So yes, you can combine tech data specifically without you leaving your what do I call it? Without you leaving health. You can also go into product design, right? You have domain knowledge in health. There are a lot of health companies that are designing products, from mobile apps to, to softwares, desktop applications, and stuff like that. They require people with health theoretical knowledge, domain knowledge, to be able to do product. So product design is broad. You have fintech, you have different kind of industry. So you can go into product design, can go into product management, you can go into data, you can go into, a lot of aspects in tech. Just that your domain knowledge, which you really love, which is an advantage, just sort of streamlines your journey and says that, hey, I want to stay in my health, but I want to be a product designer, health products, like, or I want to stay in health, I want to be a data analyst, health, and stuff like that. So does that help?
Yes, thank you very much.
You're welcome. So I'm going to drop the link on the group one more time. If you're interested in the course, so just click and head on there. So guys, thank you very much for, giving me your attention. Please, 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 I beg you, even if you're not going to buy this course, please just put everything we've talked about, put it into practice, act on it. That's the only way you can get, any result. So all the best, and I hope to hear your success stories. Cheers, everyone, and good night. Good night, good night, good night, good
Good
night.
night. Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, cheers.